unfamiliar territory behind me, and unfamiliar territory for Manchester United fans and football fans in general. But looking at it tonight on tonight's show, is the Ole Gunnar Solskjaer Manchester United fan, Manchester United in general, race over for top four not before it's even started, but because we're in this situation now that's just very, very, very interesting. The FA chairman has said that he doesn't suspect it will be finishing. 75% chance on Sky Sports tonight that the season won't finish. And if it doesn't finish, what does that mean for Manchester United? Does that mean another season in the Europa League because the season's cancelled? Does that mean that we look at the positions where we are now and fifth place is determined by Champions League football because Man City don't have it? But then the very interesting thing is, I've seen a lot of things today that if they end the season now and they give the title to Liverpool, but they say to United, you're fifth, and then Man City's ban gets upheld and we get into the Champions League because of that, what does Sheffield United say with a game in hand against Aston Villa and say, well, if we beat that, we're in fifth and we drop to sixth? So very, very interesting where this is going to go. And obviously a massive, massive amount of uncertainty with it as well. And I suppose it poses the question, if the season was to end now, would you then say Solskjaer should stay or go? I don't know. Anyway, look, what I want to say from the very start is we're in unprecedented territory, and I think the novelty at the moment is, maybe school gets cancelled, maybe football gets cancelled. Luckily, my daughter's team's playing tomorrow morning, and I think that's common sense. Personally, I think it's common sense because you're not going to get thousands of people turning up. And I think we're going to go stir crazy very, very quickly. The novelty's going to wear off. No match of the day, no football, no rugby, no Formula One for weeks and weeks and weeks. And it's gonna get like that. I think it is. So look, we've got to bunker down. We will be live every night at 8 o'clock on the United Stand. By the way, we are going to carry on. But it's going to be very, very weird for us. It's going to be very, very weird. It's going to be very weird for you as well. But the thing that makes me, I didn't even know the bloody cat had sneaked in. The little shit. Mark, did you watch Bruno sing his song? It's on Sky Sports YouTube. He looks really happy. It made me smile, says Pumpkin Spice Latte. Look, I don't want to dwell on these things for the rest of the month and the weeks ahead, but I think as it's raw and fresh, of course we're going to talk about it. And I just feel sad. I feel sad for what's to come. I feel sad for the situation. As I said, I think there is a novelty about it at the moment, but I think that very quickly this novelty is going to wear off. And people say talk about transfers, which we can talk about transfers at any time. We can talk about transfers when the season's ongoing. But has anybody ever thought, the transfer window may as well just be conversation? Because in relation to, let's take Jadon Sancho, for example. There was a story today in the Mirror saying that Jadon Sancho to Manchester United, he'll definitely come if they get Champions League football, which is something we've been saying for a very long time. If we get Champions League football, we will get Jadon Sancho, right? Okay, that's fine. Do you think we're going to sign Jadon Sancho at the moment? Because I'll tell you what, Manchester United share price has plummeted. People are going to go out of business. Money is going to lose its value. So if Dortmund want £100 million for Jadon Sancho and United gave them it, we'd probably be bankrupt by the start of the season because £100 million is going to be like £1 billion in 2 months' time. The loss of value of money is just going to plummet through the ground. So United can't even do deals anymore because you've got to be thinking, well, Jadon Sancho might actually be worth 20 million in 3 months' time because of the drop in value. So we can talk about transfers, but the reality is football clubs are going to lose a lot of money. Businesses are going to lose a lot of money. The situation is unprecedented in many ways. And I hope and pray that this suspension of the Premier League, it will be back in April. I hope that. At the moment, the suspension is to April the 4th. And I want to take a lot of your questions tonight because that's what it's all about. But realistically, I think we've jumped too soon. I do. It doesn't matter what I think, actually. What I think is the Premier League was going to keep going. The reason we haven't kept going is because we've had Arteta and we've had Hudson-Odoi and maybe others. And as soon as a Premier League football gets it, you've got to suspend it. I do agree with that. So I think we might have got a couple of more weeks of Premier League football. And people might say, well, no, you should just suspend it now. But what? We're not going to have football for a very, very long time. We're not going to have football for a very long time. And can I just say, by the way, just as a heads up as well, I don't like doing this. I don't normally do this. I've never really done this. But Super Chat's very important to us over the next few weeks if you can afford to do it. Because the United Stand has become a full-time thing. We've had Flex over in Austria. We go on tour. And I just think revenue, ad revenue, and everything like that's going to go through the floor. Because why are people going to put ad revenue out when they're losing money themselves? So if any of you can become members, I think it's £5 a month. And help the channel keep going. I know some of you will be saying piss off, I'm not going to do that, but I know a lot of you actually value the community, so there is a member button there. That would be a big help. I don't like doing that sort of thing because I love the fact that the United Stand is a channel that you lot can just watch. We're not one of these Patreon things who say give us £5 a month and I'll give you exclusive content. We've never been like that. We don't want to be that, but yeah, every little is going to help us over the next however long, because it's going to be very difficult, and I think a lot of businesses are going to be like that. And I think, tomorrow night I'm going down to the local, I'm not actually at home tonight, I'm actually at my brother-in-law's, my sister's house actually, and the daughter of my niece works at the local pub, and they've cancelled a going in today because everyone who's booked in to go for a meal has cancelled. And I wonder why they've cancelled. So we've said tomorrow night, we've just booked a big table out tomorrow, and we'll go down there and support the local pub, because you've got to do that. You have got to do that. So, yeah, look, I don't like doing that, but there you go. Rajul Islam, thank you very much for the contribution. He says, if the season ends, could have playoffs between the current top 6 for the Champions and Europa League for next season. That's a good idea. That is a constructive idea. Thank you to Simon, Mallow, Matthias, and for joining and becoming the latest members of the club. Really, really appreciate that. Gugo Proke says, begging video, how sad. I'll tell you what, being as you don't like it, we've blocked you and you can sod off. I mean, look, as I said, this channel's not about that really, and we never have been about that. Thank you, Cody Ricardo, for joining. Let's get into it. I want to take some of your questions. Hi, he comes from Sporting Like Cristiano, says Starboy 1996. So, look, I suppose the first thing I want to talk about here is, with Manchester United, what the reality is, this was on Sky Sports just before I came live, that 75% of there's a 75% chance that the Premier League won't get finished. And I was listening to Sky Cave on there, Sky Cave on Twitter. Welcome to Carlos Stewart, the latest member of the club, and he was saying that some clubs expect it to be cancelled, some clubs are hopeful that it will keep going, but the bottom line is that they just don't think that date of April the 4th will be kept. They just don't see that happening. And they're even talking that they don't see how next season starts. Now, as I've said before, why do we get fixated with the start of the season in August? And why are we fixated by the normal finish date of May the 25th? Screw that. Screw that for a game of blockbusters. We are in a situation we've never been in before. We've never been in this situation before. So why does the new season have to start in August? I think football credibility is so much on trying to get this season completed. So much. And I think that's what we need to do. And if the season comes back in June, we finish the season and we knock next season back. And we gradually get back to where we were over a couple of years. But football will be back. The human race will get through this. Football will be back. And when it does come back, should we be put into a situation where we just void the season? That means you void Bruno's stats. Like, you void Dan James, you void Rashford, you void Martial's record. They just get voided, and I don't think that should happen. But most importantly, when it does come back, we're back in the Europa League again. And I know people will say, oh well, there's bigger issues here, Mark. Of course there is. But no matter what, in my lifetime, there's been cancer, there's been death, there's been cats run over. Watch it, cat. There's been this sort of thing. There's been unfair things. But there's been football. And I think that we have to get the football back. And I think it's very important that we do get the football back, and we do finish this season. Hi, Mark. I'll continue sending the super chats and will be more than happy to help in any which way I can. Your channel is just brilliant and has helped me think about football differently. Thank you for that, Mojo. Really appreciate that. Demco, here's a Guinness on me. Thank you very much. Thank you to Oliver Glenn, to Steve Wales, and to official brother NMD. PMV Patrick, Jermaine Grant. Anaban Bataj says, it's the first in my life without football for 1 month, even more probably. It's really weird. Netflix and chill won't quench my thirst for football. I think the worst thing for me is, I was driving up today and Peter Rabbit has been put back as well. Peter Rabbit 2 has been put back, which to me is just devastating. Trent Singh says, Mark, what will happen to out-of-contract players in the summer if the rest of the games get moved to the summer and the Euros cancelled? Very good point. And Jimbo74, me and my wife love the United Stand and always watch it. Stay safe, and I'll keep watching Up the Great Talent. We're not going anywhere, and I think actually with the way that, look, we will provide you with content, not a problem. Every night at 8 o'clock, and there'll be more than that. Flex and Rants is still going to happen. We've got lots of ideas. The United Stand FC trains on a Monday night, so we're just going to go and film that and provide you with football. Things are going to happen on this channel. It's not going anywhere. And I think more than ever, we're probably going to need our fix, aren't we? Because we've got a great community. They should suspend the league, then come back in April behind closed doors for a further 2 weeks and play on until the summer. Stuff the Euros. They can be played next year. Keep it up. United Stand for life, says PQ Deeks. I agree with you on that. Thanks for the very good content. Many greetings from Switzerland, says Mark, Manchester United fan. Welcome to Jovishin Paranaman, the latest member of the United Stand Members Club. George Ramos says, Mark, if the situation doesn't improve in April, then we should play behind closed doors. I rather that this season gets gets voided. People will disagree. I think the problem is, George, is that footballers are going to get this. Footballers in many ways, and I'm not a medical expert, but I think footballers are vulnerable because they live in a bubble. They keep them away from people with colds and stuff anyway because they want to keep them fit. So maybe their immunity to this is probably a little bit lower maybe. But also, footballers are going to get it. And when footballers get it, there's a lot of footballers, there's a lot of coaches, there's a lot of fitness staff. That club then has to go into quarantine. So it's going to make it very, very difficult for it to come back. In a hypothetical world, the Premier League could have gone behind closed doors. But the problem is, they're human beings who can get this illness and then it gets suspended. Aaron McKeough says, hi Mark, happy to support the channel with small donations. Been following you for a while and your content's been fantastic. Keep it up. Thank you, Aaron. Welcome to the club, Colin Henshaw. Imrano TV, I think the players getting 3 weeks off means we can viably take weeks out of their original holiday time. That will help finish season off and have a tiny break before the new season. Cody Ricardo, what do you think the players will do day to day be like? Do you believe their form will drop? I think that's a great point, Cody. The United Stand chart shows out tomorrow morning, and I'm very sad that it's going to be the last one for a while because I love that show. I don't know whether everybody's been watching it over the last few weeks, but I loved recording it earlier tonight. It goes out tomorrow morning, and it's so sad that we can't keep doing that. But I did say that in that show that, you know, if you look at a player like Matic, who's been very good over the last 6 weeks, but the 6 months before that wasn't good, he's in such a rich vein of form at the moment, and that's going to change, isn't it? Well, it might change. And on top of that, the game against Spurs at the weekend, I've never felt more confident about beating Spurs away from home. We were so going to win that. We're playing so well. We've got players who can't get in the team who are playing well. Spurs are on their knees. They've got no forward. Their defence is crap. Next time we play them, if we play them, they're going to have Son, Kane back. You know, they'll be fresh. And I know we will have Pogba and Rashford, but we would have beat them. What do you think the players who have done that one? Welcome to Mitchell Patel, the latest member of the United Stand Members Club. Mark's 10 says, Mark, love your work. You speak a lot of sense and see things for what they are, unlike a lot of delusional people out there. Keep up the great work. Much love from Sydney, Australia. Well, I think you lot do as well. Thank you to Emma Heaton, latest member of the United Stand Members Club. Buster Nut, the Scousers thought they won it. The title looked assert, laughing themselves silly, ending 30 years of hurt. What's worse, Slippy G or taking the title, says Buster Nut. I mean, we're talking about that, Buster Nut, and the interesting thing is, please do smash a like on the video if you're watching. The interesting thing is, Liverpool, I'd adjusted to the fact that Liverpool were going to win the league, and they deserved to win the league. But I'd also adjusted recently to the fact that we were going to get Champions League football. And if we void the season, we're not going to get Champions League football, are we? We're going to be back in the Europa League again. Andrea Storvik, I wanted to buy you toilet paper, but the joke would be very inappropriate at this point. Wishing for more behind closed doors games. Good luck for the potential downtime, says Andreas. Ashley GR, I'll do what I can, mate. Thank you. And Liam Brown says, if it was at the start of the season and wasn't at the tail end with 10 games to go, then yeah, scrap the season. We're too far into it, surely. I just think for the good of football, Liam, we do need to get it done. We do need to get over the line and get it done. And I actually think for the good of football, even if we don't play football again till August, still finish this season. There's a very good point made there about momentum and how this break for players is going to be very interesting, isn't it? Because it's not like they're going on international break. It's not like they're going on tour. It's not like they can go and do promotional work because that involves, you know, meeting people. So their time is going to be very limited, and I think it's going to be a very difficult time for football as well. But it's a break. I think if I was a footballer, I would embrace this as a break. You're very well paid. You're going to be very well paid when you come back. Football's going to be people are going to be even more hungry for football when it comes back. Can you imagine the excitement? Because in a normal summer, you've got a transfer window or an international tournament or a tour. We can't have any of those things because basically football's on lockdown. So when it comes back, we're going to be, oh my God, this is the best thing ever. So I think that they're getting a break that they never get. Like, if you think about Paul Pogba, if he'd got back, he would have then gone with France. He would have maybe got to the final in early July. He would have then had a couple of weeks off. Then he would have joined the United and gone into another season. He's going to have maybe 2 months off. Like, this is bigger than a summer break for them. So all these people who say, well, if we come back in May, we can't finish the season in time for the Euros. Screw the Euros. Well, if you screw the Euros, they won't get much of a break over the summer. Well, what do you think they're having now? They're having the biggest break they'll ever have in their career. So I just think let's come back, let's get the season done, and let's get it. Let's go on to what else. Ezra for PM, welcome, latest member of the United Stand Members Club. I'd rather be in the Europa League again than Liverpool winning the league. Just saying, says John Pratham. I mean, look, some people would think that. I'd rather we were in the Champions League and we take it on the chin that Liverpool have won the league because, I mean, look, I get it. I get the fact that Liverpool are our biggest rival, but look, them not winning the league because of a natural disaster, if it is a natural disaster, is, an act of God. If you believe in all that crap. I don't know. I don't mean like if you believe in religion being crap. I just mean if you believe God's decided Liverpool aren't going to win the league and inflicted this pandemic. Mojo, Mark, if and as what Ollie suggested, Pogba stays and gets his head attitude in order, our midfield looks very good. What do you think? Who do you think will sign then? I mean, that, I think on any normal day we'd be really digesting what Solskjaer said to Flex last night in the press conference about Pogba staying. It looks very likely, doesn't it? And it would be very, very big for Manchester United. But I think he will stay. And the good thing about what Solskjaer said last night as well is that I think if we were talking about Pogba seriously in a couple of weeks in the middle of this break, I think we would have been. I think I would have done a show and said Pogba's definitely staying, because I would have looked at this situation, the collapse of the financial market, the fact that United would not be able to get anywhere near £150 million for Pogba anyway when no one's got any money, because Real Madrid are going to lose money like we are. So yeah, the value of transfers, I think a lot of people would just stay where they are next season because of that. But I liked the way that it came out before all this, before we knew what this was going to happen. I liked the way that Ollie was like he's going to stay, because it feels like Pogba had already probably had that chat. And if we, I'm not convinced there'll be loads of transfers in the summer, because I don't know how you put a value on money when there's a financial crisis, and there is a financial crisis, 100%. And not a lot of people would talk about this because they don't need to at the moment, but there's going to be a collapse of the transfer market. There's going to be a lot of businesses, football clubs in trouble, and we will be in trouble, like Liverpool will be in trouble, because you're losing match day revenue. The value of everything's going to drop. So, as I said, if you're going to make a signing, how do you go to Borussia Dortmund and say, look, the arse has fell out of the value of money. You might have wanted £100 million in March, but realistically, the way the value of money's dropped, he's only worth 20 million. Are Dortmund going to say, yeah, that's fine, we'll go and get a replacement for 2? It's like the whole world's got to sort of jump on board with that. Jermaine DeCray, pushing the start of next season back is not that simple. The Premier League has contracts for broadcasting rights both in the UK and abroad. Cancelling the season might be what's best for all parties. Well, Jermaine, I mean, you might be onto something there, but you know what I'd say to that? A big fat bollocks. I really would, because I'm not interested in broadcasting rights. I'm not interested in we can't move it because of money. This is unprecedented. This, to me, will be one of the biggest farces ever if we just cancel a Premier League season and say see you in August. I just think it'll be a joke. An absolute joke. It's the middle of March. Like, you can't not have football for that long. It'd be ridiculous. We've got to find a way. And I know it means Liverpool wins the title, but it probably also means we get Champions League football. Sartak Doob says, I think Gomez won't play for a while since he isn't physical enough based on what Flex asked yesterday. Says Sartak Doob. Gomez linked to Chelsea, as I was talking about this morning. Roger 501, thank you for joining, the latest member of the United Stand Members Club. And Cad says, we have a chance to win the Europa League and FA Cup. It must continue. I don't care about Liverpool. We have to win the Cups, Mark. And I'll tell you what, Cad, the momentum's there, isn't it? It really is. Moley YouTube, thank you very much. Daryl Bingham says, Mark, you may struggle for content now, so maybe you could do a clip show and show your top 10s in certain eras like goals or games. We won't struggle for content, mate. We're not going to struggle for content at all, 100%. I know We've got so much content. And ultimately, at the end of the day, I'll probably, you know, my hunger to do 8 o'clock shows is probably going to be more than ever. I don't ever really get tired of doing the 8 o'clock show, but sometimes it's just so relentless. You're like, I could do with a breather. I'm going to have more than a breather. I mean, bloody hell. I mean, what are we doing with our time? There's no football to watch. So there's loads and loads to talk to. And ultimately, even if it's just live to interact and do Q&As, we'll do that. Because you're always going to have questions. And I'm always going to have questions as well. United played behind closed doors and nobody has it, says Entertainment Videos. And Bollocks to TV rights, finish the season, says Underworld Ent. We are doing a chart show tomorrow. No green screen today, Toby. It's nothing to do with this bloody football being cancelled. I was always away this weekend because my sister and brother-in-law have gone away for the weekend, so we're just up at their house babysitting and stuff. So tonight I was always going to do it like this. Radmagon says FIFA streams, and would love a rant show from you, says Sartak Doob. There may be rant shows coming from me in future weeks, but at the moment I think keep calm and chill, and let's see what happens. The momentum was there, says Ayashar, and that's the thing. I mean, you can't moan too much, but the momentum was there with United. It really was, and it's a bit sad that that momentum's gone because of what's happened, but we've got to take that on the chin. Mojo says, Mark, you're right about everyone losing money. Here in India, our stock market has shed £25 billion in 3 days. It's going to be a rough ride, it is. Just as a heads up, though, it's an early heads up here. Obviously, there was going to be a match on Sunday, Tottenham versus Manchester United. For anybody who's interested in this sort of thing, it won't be coming as a surprise, but basically on Sunday afternoon at 4 o'clock on Mark Goldbridge, That's Football, I'm starting a Manchester United career mode FIFA. It's going to be far more in depth. The games are going to be longer. I normally play like 6-minute games. They're going to be at least 10-minute games to make it longer. We'll go in depth with the transfer market, the emails, the player conversations, just to make it more in depth and just to give us something to focus on. I'm not going to put it on the United stand because I don't think FIFA works on here, but I will be doing it on there. So if you're not subscribed to that channel, make sure you do. Mark Goldbridge, That's Football, and that will be starting on Sunday afternoon at 3 o'clock, and that will be regular. Cad says, if the Europa League is played as a one-game knockout system rather than 2 legs, does that suit us? There's no room for error, and we're a big game team. I think that, you know, Cad, I can say this now, and we can say it in future weeks, but we're so close to it at the moment, I can say it with real confidence. I think I look at that Europa League and I look at the way we were playing. I don't see anybody beating us. I don't really see anybody beating us. I know, for me, Wolves, I think we could beat. I'm not saying we definitely beat them, but I think Wolves we could beat. I think Bayer Leverkusen were looking good. But Getafe, Inter, Roma, Valencia, not for me. I think we were one of the favourites for that. Luke McElvey, what's your ideal scenario? Mine is league voided, Liverpool don't win, a playoff for Champions League places, and we don't have our lowest points total. Hand on heart, honestly, I want the season to be completed. I want the season to be completed because I think it's important for football. I don't want to look back and go, remember that season where it got voided, because in the future we'll always think, could that happen again? I just don't think for me, it doesn't sit right. And also, we've not even got onto this yet. In relation to Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, if the season gets voided, does he keep his job? Were we actually going to get top 4? Were we going to have our lowest points total ever? Does that come into play? For me, I don't see how you can't keep Solskjaer if the season's not been completed, because you're in the land of unknown. Said in a light vein, need a troops-like character to be honest on United stand, says Sartik Doob. I think we've already got one, and I think they're a little bit more better and elegant in what they're saying tactically, and the name is Rance. I think Rance is that person on this channel who says what he thinks, calls Ollie a Wally at times. I don't agree with that, but he always backs it up with what he believes to be the right decision. And what I would say about Rance and what I would say about Troops is, having done penalty shootouts with him, Rance is actually a baller. Obviously gets it from me. Santiago Breantos says, if the season is ended prematurely, how will cups like Europa League decided? Massive headache for all involved. Easier for Euros be postponed than cancelled. A lot of people saying Ollie in. Getafe are a real menace, especially since we haven't seen United play against compact, organised teams, says Miguel Seriano. I'd love to. I would love to see us playing them. For those people who are joining a little bit late, please do smash a like on the video. Make sure you subscribe if you're new. We're going to be carrying on doing content. The United Stand chart show is out tomorrow morning. Probably the best chart show we've ever done. and it's going to be the last one for a while, obviously, because there's no games to chart the players. Got a good show, good bit of news for a show tomorrow night as well. And then, as I said, we'll be live Sunday Night Live as well. I tell you what, as long as we don't get on total lockdown, we've got probably the biggest thing to show you next week we've ever shown you on the United Stand. It is going to blow minds. It's absolutely brilliant. And it's not ex-players or anything like that, bollocks. Don't start thinking stuff like that. We're a fan channel, remember? And that's what we champion, fan channels. I'm not interested in that. But what we're about to reveal to you, absolutely amazing next week. So make sure you are watching the content. Man United Boy 13 says, okay, news I just heard. Don't know how true this is, but I read that Canadians are in the first steps of making a vaccine. Yeah, I think there's a few countries in the first steps of doing that, Man United Boy 13. But it does take a little bit of time. It does take a little bit. It probably takes a year for it to happen. Mojo, Mark, the Liga and Bundesliga are already considering making the season void. Thanks for bringing the conversation back to what we started off. I bought shares in Igalo on Football Index, says Adam Bumble. Them shares are probably going to drop down, mate, though, because there's no matches at the moment. A few people are saying Poch in, which I think is interesting, especially in relation to something I've heard. Gonna miss your weekly Gallagher karaoke, Mark, says Josh Sutton. We'll get your last fix tomorrow. Yellow Jacket says, Mark, Sir Alex Ferguson is a risk in this. Look, I've got grandparents. You've got grandparents. Hopefully, there's elder people. Sir Bobby Charlton. I said this the other night. These are the people we're trying to protect. But look, what Mojo's saying is spot on. And would Man United win if they decide the winner of the Europa League based on stats? Says Andrea Storvik. Look, let's go back to this because I think this is causing a bit of issue. So I was watching Sky Sports before I went live, and some Premier League clubs feel that this season should just be voided. Obviously, there's a few that want it to keep going. I suspect United are a club that want it to keep going because of the Champions League. But there is a 75% chance, apparently, that the season will not get completed. Not because people don't want it to, but just because they think, because we've suspended in mid-March and the peak of this is not meant to be for another four weeks, how are you going to get games back? But I think from what I'm hearing, and apparently the FA chairman has said that he doesn't think the season will get finished either, because we're talking about Championship football, FA Cup, Premier League, Europa League, Champions League. I just think we're being too narrow. I think this is ultimately this thing that's going on cannot defeat us. It cannot defeat us. We know that the risks. We know the risks to people out there. But in their name, this cannot defeat us. Whether it's sport, whether it's businesses, whether it's your local pub, this cannot defeat us. We've got to come together here and we've got to think outside the box. I personally think there's nothing we can do about this. It's here. It started off in a country and it's now worldwide. It's there. It is there. And you've got to stand up and you've got to deal with it. That's what you've got to do. So people who are saying, let's void this, let's just start again. Well, you've already let it win. You've let it win. People who are saying, no, pubs and everything are going to go to the ground. Well, let's do something to stop it happening. Let's come together, because I tell you what, this semi-selfish society that we now live in, this me thing, this, I've got to be right, I'm first, this bollocks, it's all got to stop. It's all got to stop, because only together will we help this. And I think that to say, let's just void the Premier League. No, it might only be a small victory in the bigger picture, but let's say whatever happens, this is not going to be the end of the Premier League. I don't care when we come back. We're going to come back. We're going to get it done. And if that means we rejig things, and if that means we have a shorter summer break, then we do that. Because, as I said, these footballers will never have a period of time like this in their career again, God willing. We've never had this happen in the whole Premier League era. The Premier League heralds the Premier League nearly 30 years. We've never had footballers have this long off. They're going to be not touring, not on international duty, not dealing with transfers, not on holiday in Dubai because they can't go there. They're going to get total rest for maybe 2 months. That's the biggest summer break they'll ever have. So when they come back to play however many games left, 9 games over a couple of months, let them do that. Let them have another couple of weeks. Let's go again. Let's find a way. Let's find a way. Or maybe next season we just say no home and away. We're just going to play 1 game. why can't we do these things? Why can't we do these things? If we're going to lose 3 or 4 months, because basically that's what, I heard somebody say this today and they're absolutely spot on. Forget football, forget your job, forget your kids at school, forget government, forget Brexit, forget whatever it is. Forget the latest James Bond film. Forget Peter Rabbit 2, which I'm really trying hard not to, and I'm joking about that. Forget it all and get this mindset. You're basically switching off everything that you want for 4 months, tops. And then it'll be back. So you're losing 4 months, basically. You're losing 4 months. Or 3 months, or 2 months, or 5 months, whatever. But let's just say you're losing 4 months, yeah? When you've lost that 4 months, what are you going to do? Get planning now. Are you going to say, I've lost that 4 months, so forget everything before it? Or are you actually just going to readjust things? And I think that's what we need to do. We need to just start planning that this is going to be back. Maybe in May, maybe in June. What are we going to do? Mark, with the 2020 World Cup in November, why not just resume the season when possible and line up this season and the next to finish a month before the World Cup? Michael Pedley, it's that sort of outside the box thinking that I really think that we need to do. Danny Connors says, great work from New York. Thank you, Danny. Gary Ellis, latest member of the United Stand Members Club. Carson Badley says, the MLS has suspended their season and here in the US. If football season ends, when will the transfer market open? Transfer market's going to open up in May. Imagine they use FIFA to sim the rest and Man City win the leagues as natural data. And Michael Pedley, yeah, we've done that one. Thank you very much. Thanks for all the contributions and the new members tonight. It really, really is appreciated, your support. As I said about the transfer system, my only concern about the transfer system, and I've heard nobody say this yet, and it's only my background in finance and looking at, well, you don't need a background in finance, you just need a bit of bloody common sense. I'm a little bit worried about the transfer market. It will open. Remember I had that idea that maybe we should open it now. It was actually a stupid idea in hindsight because you look at the financial markets, the United shares are dropping. I guarantee you the Glazers, if Ed Woodward said, can I just get to work on the Sancho deal now, they'll sell us for £100 million. I guarantee, actually, if Ed Woodward spoke to the Glazers tomorrow and said, you know what, Dortmund have said that they'll let us have him for 70 million, that's a bargain. The Glazers would say, forget it. And Woodward would go, why? And he said, forget it, mate. The financial market is collapsing. So that 70 million could be 700 million in... It won't be 7, but 70 million pounds could have the value of 700 million pounds because we don't know how far the drop and the value of money is going to be. A pound today could be worth 10p. It could be worth 100 quid. You just don't know what's going to happen. So I think that transfer window, whenever it opens, is going to be a very weird situation and it's going to take a bit of adjusting. And I just think a lot of clubs will just be like, we're not going to spend a lot of money. I might be wrong. The Chinese Super League will suffer. Money can't buy you health, says Tyrone Williams. I bet this hurts the summer transfer budget, says Justin Walker. I think so. And I'm from Macedonia, says Nacho Novo. And the stock market actually went up today, Mark, says Smutty. This is what I mean. Mark, apparently the FA rules state in the event of season before time, standings will stay the same if 75% of games played. 75% of 38 is 28.5. Games, Liverpool played 29, or is this fake, says Riff MU. There may be some rule. If that rule's there, you can't argue with it. If that rule is there, I would say that's the rules. What I would also say is, I've never heard that. And if it's true that they say, well, 75% of the league's been played, that's the final standings. As I said, what do you do with Sheffield United? You've got a game in hand. And if they win that game in hand, because it's Aston Villa who are shit at the moment, and even Villa fans will admit that, Sheffield United's game in hand is Aston Villa. You can't just say, well, we'll give you 1 point. No, because they can say, well, I think we'd beat them. And if they beat them, we're 6th and they're 5th. So it's not even about Liverpool. And also, what would Bournemouth say? You're relegated on goal difference, because they're actually 3rd from bottom, but they're level with Villa, who are 4th from bottom on goal difference. They're in the bottom 3. I don't care if Liverpool win the league at the moment because for the first time in a long time we're actually playing beautiful football and I already have withdrawals, says Adams and Nicola. You know what? I've got to say, Adams, it's been that sort of a season for United, hasn't it? We endured August to January where it's some of the worst football we've seen. And we've seen Moyes. And we've seen Van Gaal and Mourinho. It was some of the worst football we've seen. You think back to some of those results. And I'm going to do a Premier League season review actually at some point on the break, and I'll probably do it quite soon so we can talk through it. But while it's fresh. But you think some of those results, Newcastle, Crystal Palace at home, Bournemouth, Watford, just to name a few, and there's a lot more. We had a crap 5 months. We bought Bruno, which was a dream. Agallo's coming in, been fantastic. We've had a really good 6 weeks, and now it's over. It's just typical of it. We finally think we're going somewhere, and it gets pulled from under a rug. We really need to see through the next 3 weeks. It's critical for those suffering can be cured, and the spread graph might start declining. There is a lot being said. Let's just hope this goes away as quickly as it came, says Mojo. And Suzanne, Brandon, Mark, here is a little donation to help out with this great channel. Thank you, Suzanne. Every little will help us. Thank you very much. And just when we started playing better, says Gabrielle Medina. And but Richie says, I'm sorry, it's not beautiful football. I don't think it's beautiful football. I agree with that. But I think we were starting to go somewhere. And look, the big thing is, when we do get back playing, we'll definitely have Pogba, and we might even have Rashford to add into that as well. So, look, hope is the thing we've got. We've got hope here. And we will come out the other side. Maybe not all of us will come out the other side. I'm not going to say that. But the vast majority of us will. And Manchester United will. And when we do get out to the other side, we've got something to look forward to, haven't we? If they don't cope... I also must just say, 100% news this is. The United Stand get-together in Dublin on April the 2nd has been postponed. We'll come up with a new date as soon as we can. Everyone who's got a ticket, we will obviously honour those tickets. And I spoke to the bar this morning, and they've said that Dublin's already on more of a lockdown and they expect it to get worse. So, I was travelling, Flex was travelling, a few people were travelling. It's just never going to happen. And also, it's a gathering of over 400 people, so they were never going to let it happen. So we need to rearrange that as well. Welcome to Siggy K, latest member of the United Stand Members Club. Ollie has a new puppy. It's called Pep, says Aliano Tenno. And Zed Jamie says, why don't we finish this season and start next season at the start of October? However, don't play international friendlies. Adds time for more games and could suspend the League Cup for a year. Yes, I've got no problem with suspending the League Cup. And I've got no... But people are going to come out with, yeah, but you've got sponsors. We've got sponsors now. What are your plans for all this free time apart from YouTube, says Sarang DS? You know what? I haven't even thought about it yet. I've done a video on the Mark Goldbridge channel today. I normally only do one video a week on there, going for Goldbridge. Now, Mark Goldbridge channel, you can search it. Please do subscribe to it. It's not football related. I was talking today about the pandemic and my opinion on it. I was also telling people about, the funniest thing that ever happened to me at school. It's more of a life channel for me, and I'm going to do more regular stuff. I did one on Wednesday, I've done Friday. I might even do a daily vlog on there, because I think, this is I might start doing a daily vlog Monday to Friday on the Mark Goldbridge channel, simply because it's not football related, but also I think we're in a time that I think, hopefully, if I come through it, that I might look back on in years to come and go, remember that period. So Mark Goldbridge channel, I'm going to do a lot more on there, which is, please do subscribe to that. The video I did to do today has had loads of views, actually. That's football. Obviously going to do Football Manager and FIFA. And United Stand, got loads of ideas. Me, Flex and Rants are... I've got, well, I can't tell you what it is, but we've got some stuff coming up next week as well. We're going to have some football on this channel because we've got the United Stand FC team, and they're going to be doing games because you can still play amateur football, as I say. So there's lots we'll do. And I think ultimately it's important that people keep turning up at 8 o'clock and we keep having this interaction, because one thing that happens with what's about to come is we're going to start to feel very isolated from the world that we love. There is no football, there is no sport. And we can watch old sport, of course we can. I'll be watching that, and we can watch films and stuff. But cinema, socialising, this is important. Some football clubs will go out of business, says Ali Antano. I think it's too early to say, because a lot of people are in danger of going out of business. I mean, I spoke to a plumber this morning. The pub, I was down the pub today and we're talking about that. There's people that just don't have the reserves to stay in business if they're out of business for a long time. Love how Flex is getting into press conferences, says Matt Carroll. Yeah, we finally get in, and then they end the season at the moment. And Sally Devil Red 7, I echo what she said. Thanks for all the super chats tonight, and thanks for all the new members. Even if you're not watching live, it would help us if you can become a member. Click the join button. But look, I don't like saying that, as you know. And if you want to buy something, United Stand t-shirts, Bruno t-shirts just out. Links in the video description. They've done really well as well. But yeah, it's gonna be a weird time. It's gonna be a weird time. And thanks for all the donations on the super chats as well. Lots and lots to come. United Stand chart show tomorrow morning will be out at 9:30. To me, there's a lot of things gutting me at the moment. There's a lot of things worrying me at the moment. I've got elderly relatives that, to be honest with you, I think they're that old. If they get it, it's going to be, and then you wonder about if they do get it, can you even go and see them? There's a lot of things going on, but this is escapism to me. So thanks everyone who is tuning in as well. And yeah, we will be back tomorrow. But I am sad. I'm sad that the chart show tomorrow is the last one, because I think it's one of the best ideas for a show I've ever had. Robbie from Arsenal Fan TV, we were talking this week, and he was like, he said, I love the chart show. And I said, we'll do it on Arsenal Fan TV. And he was like, won't you be mad? And I said, I'm never going to do an Arsenal top 10. I'd rather put bleach in my eyes. I'm not going to do an Arsenal top 10. If you do a chart show on the Arsenal Fan TV, I'll take it as a compliment that you like our content. I said, but you've got to start doing all the singing. And he said, I'm never going to do all that. But I think it's such a great show. I think it's one of the best inventions in football fan channels. I think it's such a great show, but you can't do it if we're not playing games. But it'll be back. It will be back. If our momentum gets ruined because of this and we go back to inconsistency like earlier in the season, would you blame Ollie or give a chance? Says Ishan Pundi. I don't... Look, I'll say this. If we come back and we go back to being crap, I'd be like, what's gone wrong? Because Pogba and Rashford are going to be there. Everyone's going to be refreshed. We've got a very good squad. I think it's time for... I think we'll come back stronger, and that's what we've all got to try and do. And Mojo says, can you do the live show a little earlier? Because 8 PM UK time is 1:30 at night here in India, says Mojo. Well, we can certainly look at that. We've got a few ideas to come. So thanks, everyone. Thanks for all the likes on the video. Thanks to the new members. Thanks to the super chats. Thanks for the normal chats. And thanks for everyone who's subscribed new. United Stand chart show tomorrow morning. Something for you to get up for and be excited about. Last one for a while, the chart show. But we will be live every night at 8 o'clock as usual. And we've got some brilliant content. It'll be a slightly different type of content, but we have got some really good ideas for content coming up. Speak to you soon. Thanks for watching.